Howdy folks, my name's Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Well folks, today is Father's Day, and I've got something very special to talk about today. So, let's talk about another classic Disney TV show that I used to watch a lot when I was little, Goof Troop. Created by Robert Taylor and Michael Peraza Jr., the show focuses on the relationship between Goofy and his son Max, as well as their neighbors Pete and his family. The main series consisted of 65 episodes, which aired from 1992 to 1993 on the Disney Afternoon programming block, while an additional 13 episodes aired on Saturday mornings on ABC. And there was also a Christmas special, which aired in late 1992. Now, like DuckTales, I loved this show as a kid due to the classic hand-drawn animation, lovable and zany characters, crazy antics, and a classical theme song. However, believe it or not, before I ever saw Goof Troop on TV, during the spring of 1995, my dad took me to see a theatrical movie starring Goofy and Max. And that's the subject of my blog today. Released on April 7th, 1995, the movie is a Goofy movie. So, let's get on the road, shall we? It's the last day of school, and Max wants to catch the eye of Roxanne, one of the more attractive girls in school. So, Max, along with his friends PJ and Bobby, work together to stage a concert at the final assembly, which would have worked if Principal Mazer hadn't ruined it. Later, Goofy gets a phone call about his son's antics and decides to take Max on a fishing trip to Lake Destiny, Idaho. Of course, he doesn't know that Max has finally landed a date with Roxanne for a party shown by the class valedictorian. During their trip, Goofy tries to bring Max out of his shell, while Max resents being taken away and lying to Roxanne about the trip. So, what do I think about this movie? Well, after seeing it with my dad in theaters, I loved it, and I still love it to this very day. But to further explain why I love this film, let's move on to Mustang Notes. This film marks the animated directorial debut of Kevin Lima, who would later direct Tarzan, 102 Dalmatians, and Enchanted. Disney came up with the idea to make a theatrical animated film starring Goofy while considering ideas for a potential Goof Troop TV special. Director Kevin Lima wanted to expand out Goofy as a character and give him an emotional side that would resonate with audiences. Screenplay writer Jim Magan stated that the father-son dynamic of the film was inspired by a story from then Walt Disney Studios chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg, in which he and his daughter, with whom he had an estranged relationship with at the time, went on a road trip together, during which they bonded and their relationship considerably improved. Now, in my opinion, this style of hand-drawn animation is absolutely classical, and I think it's also better than Goof Troop's animation due to it having improved character designs. But at the same time, I noticed that there were some animation errors involving Goofy's roadmap. But despite that little hiccup, I think the whole road trip plot is really nice due to the fact that this movie was released 3 years before my first cross-country road trip vacation with my family. However, there are some scenes that were a tad mean-spirited and harsh, like at the Possum Emporium, and there is a funny moment where Goofy and Max encounter Bigfoot. Speaking of which, I know it's been about 2 years since I blogged The Son of Bigfoot, but I'm still curious of when its sequel will get an American release. Also, I really love the montage where Goofy and Max do all sorts of fun things, like going to an amusement park, going to the beach, seeing a house made of yarn, interacting with a mime, and going to a baseball game. And I think the Neptune Inn has a cool underwater theme, though that lamp in their room kind of feels reminiscent to The Little Mermaid. And that waterfall scene was really intense. Now, what would be a Disney movie, let alone a Goofy movie, without wonderful and catchy songs? Our first song is After Today, which is sung by Max and various other characters on the last day of school before the summer vacation. I really like this song. Not only does it show everyone's excitement about summer vacation, but it also shows Max's determination to impress Roxanne. Next is Stand Out, which is a Powerline song that Max dances to while he and his friends, PJ and Bobby, sabotage the assembly. To me, this song is absolutely catchy and amazing to dance to, and while the first version was cut off by the mean-spirited Principal Mazer, it later gets a reprise when Max heads back home. Also, just listening to this song brings back memories of when I danced to it for the Mr. Mustang Mangent during my senior year of high school. Next we have On the Open Road, sung by Goofy and Max as they travel to Lake Destiny. In my eyes, this is another great song that you'd most likely listen to while you're on a road trip or a vacation. Plus, I really like when several other drivers join in the song, like cowgirls, nuns, a tow truck driver, and many more. Plus, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck make a cameo in this song as hitchhikers. Next we have Lester's Possum Park, which is sung by a group of animatronic possums. To me, this song is pretty much the weakest in the entire movie. Now, I'm not saying it's bad. It is catchy and all. I'm just saying that it feels like a rip-off on the Country Bear Jamboree. I really miss it so much. Next is Nobody Else But You, sung by Goofy and Max as they reconcile after their argument regarding the failure of their vacation. In my opinion, this song is very touchy, and it's also a great father and son duet. Finally, we come to the best song in the entire film, Eye to Eye, sung by Powerline, voiced by Tevin Campbell. This song is featured in the film's climactic scene, where Goofy and Max wind up on stage with Powerline at the Los Angeles concert. In my eyes, this song is just so awesome. Plus, as most people have said, Powerline is like a mix of Michael Jackson and Prince. No surprise, since this song is meant to pay homage to Prince's I Would Die For You. Also, this song gives a good message for the movie, explaining that even if we are somewhat different, like a father and son, if we do listen to one another, we are alike. And now let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought them to life. Let's begin with our star for the movie, Goofy, voiced by the beloved Bill Farmer. In this film, Goofy works as a baby photographer at a photo studio in a department store. After getting a phone call from Max's principal, Goofy decides to work things out with his son while going on a fishing trip to Idaho. Now, in my opinion, as usual, Goofy is a great Disney character, despite being sometimes clumsy, but still, on the other hand, Goofy is not stupid. And I like when Goofy makes Max into his navigator. Also, believe it or not, this film was the very first time that I've seen Goofy angry when Max lied to him. Still, I think Goofy is a great father figure, and he's always eager to help his friends, even his own son. Goofy's son Max is voiced by Jason Marsden, who got to be Kovu in The Lion King 2 and Haku from Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away. In my opinion, teenage Max is a very relatable character due to the fact that he can't stand his dad's antics, and he's afraid that he will end up becoming like his father, and he's ashamed of his own laugh. In the film, Max attempts to impress Roxanne, and after getting sent to the principal's office, Max succeeds in asking Roxanne out. But after Goofy decides to take Max on his vacation, Max lies to Roxanne that he's going to be on stage with Powerline. Anyway, aside from the Goof Troop series and the sequel Extremely Goofy Movie, after this film, Max made appearances in films like The Spirit of Mickey, Mickey's Once and Twice Upon a Christmas, and the House of Mouse series. And I just hope that someday Max can have an appearance in a future Kingdom Hearts game. Next we have Pete, voiced by the great Jim Cummings. Pete is Goofy's neighbor and co-worker, whom he and Max happen to bump into a couple times during their trip. Now, this version of Pete is a lot different compared to how he mostly is as a villain. You see, Pete is usually seen giving Goofy some parenting advice. And in my opinion, while Pete is strict with his son PJ, I think his RV is really breathtaking. And the scene where Pete overhears Max telling PJ about changing Goofy's roadmap makes me think back to Pete's villainous persona. Also, nowadays, I wonder what happened to Pete's wife Peg, his daughter Pistol, and their dog Chainsaw. Guess we'll never know. Next we come to Pete's son and Max's best friend and partner, PJ, voiced by Rob Paulsen. In my eyes, PJ is a bit insecure around his dad, but at the same time, he has a very close, friendly relationship with Max. In the film, PJ helps Max during the assembly by videotaping his dance. But after school goes out for the summer, PJ goes camping with Pete in his RV. However, nowadays, I wonder if PJ will ever appear in a future Kingdom Hearts game, due to his dad being a sidekick to the most evil fairy in all of Disney history. We also have Bobby Zinarewski, voiced by Pauly Shore, whom I've talked about in my blogs of the 2 live-action Casper prequels. In my eyes, Bobby is pretty cool with his surfing lingo, but at the same time, he's a tad bizarre due to his obsession with canned processed cheese. Still, I think Bobby is a smart AV kid, and he's also a brilliant tech wizard, like when he helps Max hijack the end of school assembly. Finally, we have Roxanne, Max's high school crush and romantic interest, voiced by Kelly Martin, whom I remember as Sadira from Aladdin the Animated Series, and Mona in Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas. Now, despite the fact that Roxanne doesn't really have a big role in the movie, and her dad is very overprotective, I think Roxanne is a very kind character, and I think that she and Max make a cute couple. Plus, I'm glad that Max succeeded in impressing her during the assembly, but after Max tells her that he'll be on stage with Powerline, she later tells PJ and the rest of her classmates about it. Also, at the end of the film, Roxanne reveals that she's already liked Max when she heard him do the goofy laugh. Also to note, this movie wouldn't be the only time we ever see Roxanne, due to her appearance in one episode of the House of Mouse series. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, A Goofy Movie is a great film to watch, especially during the Father's Day weekend. And I'm still glad that my dad took me to see it when it was in theaters 25 years ago. It has great animation, despite a few errors, and it has some classic Disney humor. Most of the songs, including the Powerline songs, are underrated, and the characters are very memorable, and the voice acting is great too. However, the plot is a tad cliched, and one scene was very mean-spirited. But still, this is a movie you should definitely watch and share with your family. And trust me, you'll all have a good time with it. I give this film a 95% out of 100. Now, I guess you may be asking, will I ever blog the sequel, Extremely Goofy Movie? Well, maybe, but it only depends on if I can find a good time to do it. Well, folks, that's all for now. Be sure to join me next time, because we'll be going to Jellystone Park. Mustang Power. Oh, and happy Father's Day, folks.